The problem is that you can't build a sustainable business and actually grow it. We're talking about growing a business when you're always jumping from one thing to the next.
Stop the battle within your soul. You know it's all in your head. Being sad doesn't make you smart. It seems your heart just needs a fresh start.
Hello, and welcome back to Mama What's Next. It's Melanie here, and I am so happy you are joining me today. As you know, if you've listened to some of my episodes before, I don't necessarily plan them out ahead very thoroughly. I'm not one of these people that writes down a full script word for word and then just read it off the piece of paper. I often just have an idea, or I have a question, or I have a challenge that I want to share with you, that I want to help you with, that I've come across. And usually I just write down a few bullet points, because I found that my brain sometimes goes and jumps so quickly from one to the next that this feels more natural. It feels easier for me to just kind of have a few talking points that I want to bring across to you, that I want to share with you, and to generally try and stay calm with me in my body, and to just let it flow through me, and to just go with what comes to my mind in the moment about these particular subjects. Today, I want to talk to you about solving the challenges of a multi-passionate entrepreneur and multi-passionate mom that I am. Sometimes I realize I am working my head so much to try and come up with the best scenario and the best setup for this podcast, and the right talking points and the right topics and the right SEO descriptors, because I'm a marketer and I know it's all about strategy, that you get to reach the right people. But in trying to make everything so perfect and trying to come up with the best setup for the podcast to reach the right people, sometimes that can hold us back quite a lot as well. And I've realized being multi-passionate, being multi-hyphenate, because I don't just love different types of things, different types of work, creative work, strategic work, implementations, coaching, mentoring. I don't just love these things. I actually work in different areas too. And I will share about the difference between being multi-passionate versus being multi-hyphenate or multi-potentialite in a different episode, actually. Today, I just want to bring you alongside my challenges that I face when building a business as a multi-passionate entrepreneur and mom. And I can tell you it's not easy. It's really quite challenging. And I am constantly looking for solutions, how I can help myself and you out there, if you are being multi-passionate and you have an interest in different topics and working across different areas, to help all of us struggle less. And it's not just the struggle that I feel, it's really quite difficult sometimes because it's holding us back. Because you will know this if you are talented across different areas of work, that people end up expecting a lot from you. They see you working across many different disciplines and types of work, and many of them don't really understand why it's so hard for you to just break through and to just make it work. And I can tell you, it is really quite hard, because the passion that you have, that I have for so many different topics, is really holding you back, because I am so interested in so many different things. I could be jumping from one topic to the next, to the next, to the next every single day. And I don't get tired of it. And I love learning new things every single day. And the real challenge is also that I can work across many disciplines really well. So I have a marketing background. And luckily, actually, I picked this area of work because marketing is so multifaceted that I can work across different disciplines and different areas of marketing itself, which is amazing. So I'm very lucky in that way, because it can be very strategic, very creative. There's a lot of implementation work, a lot of operations, and I love all of it. The problem is I am also skilled at building websites. I am quite good at building websites. I do it really fast. I can also design my own logos. I can create my own flyers. I can do everything quite well. I can do it so well that I have been paid for all these things in the past. The problem is that you can't build a sustainable business and actually grow it. We're talking about growing a business when you're always jumping from one thing to the next. So my struggle is to really build Mama What's Next, or the agency business that I built alongside it, which is a content production business, to a point where they can actually grow. And to make something grow, you have to stick with it. You have to stick with it. And when you listen to successful entrepreneurs, successful, business coaches, career coaches, you will quickly realize that to grow something sustainably, you need to work on it for years to come. So over, the last years, months, I have continuously tried to streamline my ideas and to build them under a brand umbrella, essentially. Because when you are a multi-passionate entrepreneur, a multi-passionate mom, you can't easily just niche down into something. It doesn't work. Or you're working against yourself. And I strongly believe over the long term that will make you unhappy. So what we need to try and do is create an umbrella, similarly like you do this in branding when you create a brand world and you structure potentially different types of brands under a big brand umbrella. So, for example, I used to do this with Davidoff when I was working in Switzerland many years ago. We created an overall lifestyle brand for Davidoff, and underneath that lifestyle brand, we aligned different brand categories. So we would align leather goods, we would align writing instruments and pens and accessories and fragrances and cognac. And we would kind of structure the lifestyle brand in a way that it could house all these different product categories, which is not always easy. It's difficult in branding, and it's just as difficult when you are building a business as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, a multi-passionate mom, and you're trying to create an umbrella business for yourself where you can structure different categories of work, a different portfolio of work underneath that. So I have been, really trying to do this over the last few years, and I'm still in the process of figuring this out. And I thought it might be helpful for many of you listening to bring you along this journey as I'm trying to solve it. So I have been listening to quite a few people that teach in this area. One of them is Medicine. Her handle on TikTok is Multi-Passionate Medicine. And she has some really great insight and feedback on how you can create content and structure the topics that you talk about as a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So what she says when people constantly ask and think about, what can I post about my business? What can I share about? She said, really what you should be starting with and what you should be focusing on is, what do I really want to be known for? And that's something that Seth Godin, the marketing guru, brand and marketing guru, I love his books and his work very much. And that's what he shares as well. It's about, what do you want to be known for and what is the change that you're here to make? So that's a question that I am wrestling with at the moment to try and solve. Because essentially it should be something, bringing us back to the first point, that we can stick to for quite some time. That now brings me to my second example. I have been listening to The Long and the Short of It. It's a podcast that is done by two people, Peter Shabbat and Jen Waldman. They both teach others to speak, to lead. One is based in Australia and the other is based in New York, I think. And it's quite an insightful podcast. And they always pick topics where they talk about their different perspectives and how they view it, what they can learn from it, and what they have learned about it in the past. And funnily enough, in one of their recent episodes, they discuss the same topic. Not necessarily from a multi-passionate kind of point of view, but more so in general when leaders and entrepreneurs come to them and they ask them, does it really have relevance still, what I'm doing here, and should I keep doing it? And sometimes it's because they're bored with it, because they've been talking about it for so long. They have delivered a business talk for years and they're talking about the same thing over and over and over and over. And they come to the conclusion that you really need to ask, what is it for? Who does it help? And is it still delivering value? Are you still helping people with what you're offering? And are they paying you for it? Because essentially, if that is the case, this is your business and you have to keep delivering it. And essentially being fed up with telling the same story over and over and you being bored with it is completely irrelevant. Except if you want to stop and create a completely new business. So really, what they talk about is that many people wrestle with this topic of getting bored by something over time, because when you build a business, you do have to focus in and narrow in on a certain topic and a certain idea, something that you want to teach, that you want to share. And you have to deliver that over and over and over and over. And it scares me as a multi-passionate woman. It really does. Because this has been my problem over and over again. As soon as I realize that I'm not excited about something anymore, I'm not learning new things anymore as much as I did in the beginning, I tend to drop the ball, quite honestly, and I tend to jump onto the next thing. And while I think that's a good thing, I also need to acknowledge the fact that I am not at a point where I want to be with my business yet. I am always able to generate new work, gain new clients, but I'm not quite at a point where I want to be. The kind of impact that I want to have, the kind of people that I want to reach with the business. So that brings me back to what I shared in the beginning. We need to focus on something for a number of years to come. So the next question you need to ask yourself, can I talk about this for the next 10 years? And I know that sounds scary. It certainly does for me. And I think that's why I've been sitting on it for so long. I'm sitting with this idea of trying to find the perfect topic, trying to find the perfect perspectives, the perfect talking points. But essentially, I'm always someone that says, it's important that you start. It's important that you get going. And I'm pretty good at getting to walk, getting to start things, getting things off the ground. I'm very good at that. But I'm not so good at sticking to it when things get hard or, dare I say it, boring. So essentially, this is what we should be doing now. We pick a subject and we really try and look at it from different angles, because the stories we tell around this topic for the next 10 years, we can talk about these stories from different perspectives, from different angles. We can share different stories that talk about the same point we want to make. But essentially, we need to start focusing on one particular topic. So what is it that you can talk about for the next 10 years? What is it that you want to be known for? What is it? So this is what I will leave you with today. I thought it was interesting to share this with you, interesting to bring you along in my own personal struggles and to share my insights that I'm gaining. And I'm certainly much, much closer than I was 1 year ago and much, much closer than I was 5 years ago. So I'm very positive that we will be successful. It just requires a little bit of discipline, I think. And this is a little bit harder for multi-passionate entrepreneurs and multi-passionate mums than it is for people that are naturally leaning into a more expert-driven type of work. But I'm very confident that we can make this work. So thank you so much for listening today. And I'm happy if you tune in next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye. All right. Hello. And I'm so grateful you were here today, tuning in and showing up for yourself. If you love this episode, can I ask for a quick high five? Yes, that's right. Just hit that subscribe button at the top and leave me a review and share this episode with someone who could use a little inspiration today. Your support really means the world. Let's also give ourselves a big hug for showing up, being honest, and supporting each other on this incredible journey. Don't forget to check the show notes for links to connect with me on Instagram and LinkedIn. I'd really love to keep in touch. Until next time, keep being the incredible real you that the world needs. I'll see you back here soon.